Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Duskmourn House of Horror in this flashback draft season. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one here with a very solid pack. Razorkin Horde Caller is an excellent uncommon, one of my favorite uncommons in the whole set. Just really awesome in any red deck, being a big aggressive creature that can play defense at the same time because it's spitting out those little blockers for you. It's great in any red deck. Love that card. There's also Coordinated Clobbering for efficient removal. Rite of the Moth is a fun one if you're trying to do the flashback, or not the flashback, the reanimator strategy. But we've also got a really sweet rare with Enduring Innocence. The Enduring Innocence is a great card engine for any deck with a lot of creatures with power 2 or less, which is going to be almost any deck, but especially the white ones. So this is a huge way to draw a ton of cards and win the game from there through card advantage. So love me an Enduring Innocence here. Going to be at its best in blue-white or red-white, but you can play it in any white deck and be happy with it. Pick number 2 now. This pack I'm much less excited about than the first pack. None of these cards really speak to me personally. Patch Plaything is an okay follow-up to the Enduring Innocence because it technically enters as a 2-power creature, triggers it, draws you a card. That's fine. Diversion Specialist is another fine uncommon. Banish from Sight, a fine blue removal spell, but nothing above that level. Nothing all that exciting. Wow, Jolly Balloon Man, this is a little late for that. Doesn't look like much, but there are a lot of ways to really abuse this ability. Create a copy of one of your creatures, except it is a 1/1 flying balloon with haste that you have to sacrifice at the end step. You can do that every single turn. Basically, if you have any creatures with enter the battlefield effects or additional abilities, that's going to go really crazy. There's a lot of really silly, really absurd stuff you can do with the Jolly Balloon Man, and red-white, the Boros deck, is one of the best archetypes in the set, one of the better aggro decks. I do not mind the Jolly Balloon Man here. Pick number 4 now. Nothing great continuing the way that we're going. Manifest Dread's a really solid card for Delirium decks. You're putting a sorcery in your grave and then you're milling a card with Manifest Dread, so you're filling up your grave with a lot of card types. So I like Manifest Dread a lot in a few strategies. There's also Murder, which is very good removal in general, but I don't love the black decks, especially don't like black-white. But I mean, I like green-white even worse, but I feel like we see pretty weak white here. So in case we get cut off, maybe moving towards a green deck with Manifest Dread is okay. Murder might be the better pick here, but whatever we're taking, I'm not super happy with this pack again. I guess there's Glimmerburst. Blue-white is a really good deck. Blue-white's a really good deck. Glimmerburst is a great card for that strategy. You're getting an enchantment to hit the board at instant speed, too. It's also another 2-power-less creature. You know what? Sure, I'll go Glimmerburst here, actually. It's a little more synergistic with our first picks. Pick 5, Fear of Being Hunted is nice in Boros, so that's perfectly fine. There's okay white cards like the Fear of Surveillance or Orphans of the Wheat. Those are all fine. I'm going to go for the Fear of Being Hunted, though. Really like that ability, and it's got a super fun combo with another card in the set. It's a common called Most Valuable Slayer. Makes it so whenever one of your creatures attacks, you can give it +1/+0 in first strike, and a first striking Fear of Being Hunted is disgusting. Here's Arabella, which is the Boros Signpost uncommon, so that's a very good sign now that we could just stick to Boros here. 2 mana for a 1/3, but whenever she attacks, she deals X to each opponent, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. So even by herself, she is attacking for like 2 damage a turn, but the wider your board is, the crazier she gets. Very good card. Seized from Slumber is a really solid removal spell. Acrobatic Cheerleader is an okay filler 2-mana creature, but we can find better ones. Pick number 8, Filler Combat Trick, filler 2-mana creature. Not huge on the combat trick, so I'll take the creature there. 2 different really mediocre 3-mana creatures. The Living Phone is not a very consistent death trigger, and anytime you play it as a 3-mana 2/1 and it doesn't draw you another card when it dies, it is an absurdly bad deal. So I'm not a huge fan of Living Phone, but then like Vicious Clown is also just so mid. Anytime it's not triggering, it's a really bad stat line, and when it does, it's not the biggest payoff ever, so I'm not a big fan of either of these. I'll go for the Living Phone, because Living Phone does technically go up in value a little bit when it has, like, bombs that it can hit. Like, it could hit an Enduring Innocence, or a Jolly Balloon Man, or an Arabella. Like, there are some premium cards it could hit when we're really lucky, but the times when we're not are really bad with that card. So just want to keep that in mind. Do we want the Menacer over the 5-mana removal spell? I don't think that'd be crazy, but we don't have a lot of removal yet. I'll take the Menacer here, I guess. But in the future, we definitely need to start taking the removal more highly, I think, with just one removal spell throughout the first pack. No, I really wish I took the removal because there's another Menacer. Although I would take the Turn Inside Out over him, even if we didn't have the first copy. This is a really nice combat trick. Basically, you replace whatever creature you're trading off with another 2/2. So you get to attack in with your 2/2 into like 4/4s and 5/5s and stuff, make it big enough so it actually trades with that 4/4 or 5/5, and then get another 2/2 back. So it plays really, really well. I think Turn Inside Out is like a big reason that I'm not a huge fan of that like first strike combat trick, because it's like you can already just get a really good combat trick in red at common anyway. That's just arguably better than that uncommon trick. Alright, now I don't feel bad at all. We wield one of the 5-mana removal spells regardless. That worked out perfectly fine. And a random Mountain Cycler to top us off. What do we got, pack 2? Okay. Lucky return trip to Duskmourn so far. Just opening on color rares these first couple drafts. Overlord of the Mistmoors is probably the best rare you could possibly ask for a Boros deck. Spitting out a bunch of those 2-power less creatures, making a really wide board, single-handedly winning the game with how big it is. Great card is great. We're still low on removal, particularly on good, efficient removal, so I'm going to take Glassworks here. But the Lionheart Glimmer and the Unsettling Twins are reasonable options for Boros. Okay, Surgical Suite Hospital Room's pretty fun. Reanimate one of your little creatures and start getting counters on your attackers every turn. It's certainly better than Emerge or Vicious Clown for this deck. Marvin sounds cool, but Marvin doesn't tend to do much of anything. I think Fear of Surveillance is probably just better. We're still really low on cheap creatures, so we gotta take that over the Jump Scare. Do not like Attack in the box very much. Or the Living Phone if I can avoid it. And the Beastie I'd like to cut. So we got a few cards I'd like to get out of here. I do like Grand Entry Elegant Rotunda. It's better in blue-white where you have a bunch of cards that specifically care about enchantments entering or rooms being unlocked. You do get a 1/1 and some counters regardless here. I think I like that better than another Diversion Specialist right now. Yeah. Take the entryway. Get another 2-mana creature into the deck. I might still run Living Phone for now, again, because we have Balloon Man, Arabella, Innocence to grab. But we'll see. Ragged Playmate, another reasonable 2-drop, just more filler creatures. I like that over the Machete here. We've got stuff at 4 mana. Very cool card from the bonus sheet, the Sacrifice there, but obviously it's not even on color. Another Glassworks here over Fear of Surveillance. We've got Glassworks, Inferno, and Seized. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 filler 2-mana creatures. Yeah, I'll go for another removal spell over another Fear. Because I'd like to maybe cut these 5-mana removal spells if we can get there. Particularly the Impossible Inferno. That is a late Roaring Furnace Steaming Sun, and that card is really, really good. But I guess nobody's in blue-red, which is fair. It's one of the weaker archetypes. We can't really... I mean, we could play the Furnace, but there's no way we're going to get the Sauna in here. I'm not sure the Furnace by itself is all that worth it. We'll just take a Friendly Ghost. It's still alright, I guess. Just a little sorcery burn spell. That's a bad draw in the late game. Yeah. Pick 9, another Friendly Ghost? Sure. Pick 10, another Beastie. So right now we kind of have a full mediocre Boros deck. So this final pack we're trying to just find a few more solid additions that allow us to cut our most mediocre cards and turn this from a mediocre Boros build to just a really, really solid one. We'll see. See if we can get there in this final pack. No matter what, even if we get like no playables, we have a mid deck available. So being in that position makes me think we'll probably end this draft with a pretty decent deck. We don't need to get too many more strong cards for this to become a very good deck. It's just not quite there yet. It's pretty mid right now. But that's what the next 15 cards are for. Alright, we got the Wombo combo that I think is really fun. If we manage to draw them together, turn 3, Fear of Being Hunted, turn 4, the Most Valuable Slayer, to keep giving the Fear of Being Hunted first strike and just eat their board away. It might be better to just take like a turn inside out or something here, but the Slayer combo is so fun, I'm just going to take it. Here's a really efficient removal spell, the Betrayer's Bargain, or like some really decent 2-mana creatures would be good too. It's an excellent black rare. Unfortunately, we're not that color. I'm going to take the Betrayer's Bargain there. Get the removal. Pick 3, it's all non-creature spells, unfortunately. After we already just took some more removal. I'll grab another turn inside out here. Pick number 4. Oh, no. It's all excellent non-creature spells. I was looking to get another creature or two, but Sheltered by Ghosts is an absurd card. 2 mana for +1/+0, lifelink and ward 2, and exile a non-land permanent until they blow this creature up. That just does so much pressure so early, it's insane. We are not really a Fear of Abduction deck, so I guess we grab the Hardened Escort. Okay. Our creatures are going to be pretty mediocre in this deck at this rate. We just spent this entire last pack taking basically no creatures. But we got some really good spells at least. We did add a Most Valuable Slayer to the pile. Creature count, 15. Plus Grand Entryway is 16. We're good on the count. Ooh, another Fear being hunted? If there were a better 2-mana creature than Grand Entryway, I might take that for the mana curve. But Grand Entryway is not a very good 2-mana creature in this deck. It's a very, very filler. But Fear of Being Hunted, having 2 copies of that to go with the Slayer is quite nice. It also works with Hardened Escort, but the Hardened Escort has to attack for that combo. So that's less consistent. Could still play it. Veteran Survivor would be nice here. I do want more 1 or 2 mana creatures, I think, but Scorching Dragonfire is a much better card in general. I've got Double Glassworks, I got Sheltered, I got Bargain. I think I take the Survivor here anyway. There's also that Painter's Studio for some card draw. There's a lot of reasonable options, but I'm actually pretty dang happy with our non-creature spells. I just want to improve the creatures and cut some of the more mediocre creatures out of here, so take that opportunity to do that. I'm not going to play 3 copies of Turn Inside Out, so let's just rare draft. This is not a Possessed Goat deck either. Not a Cult Healer deck. Rare draft again. I think I'll drop the Hardened Escort and just focus on the Slayer for that. Did get the Orphans of the Wheat. I'll cut the Living Phone now. Do I end up cutting the Jolly Balloon Man? I could end up cutting the Jolly Balloon Man here too. I've got a couple cards that work well with them, but not a ton. So like, not Fear Being Hunted. Enduring Innocence, Arabella, Friendly Ghost. Overlord's insane with them, but if we drew an Overlord, we're already winning. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to cut the Balloon Man in the end. Surprisingly enough, and then maybe that's the deck. I've got a lot of 4-mana creatures. It might be better to drop a Ghost or a Specialist before we drop Balloon Guy. Yeah, let's actually mana curve this up. Let's go Friendly Ghost. Alright, kind of built the deck as we went. We will call it a deck there, hop into the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. Alright, here we are for game 1. Veteran Survivor ready to roll out, get some damage in. I did decide in the end to adjust the deck a little bit. I decided to run the Hardened Escort over Jolly Balloon Man so that we can really get some Fear of Being Hunted combos going if we're lucky. Now having 2 different ways to combo with it should be extra fun. So like here we can set up the mana for the Fear of Being Hunted and play the Hardened Escort, and then any creature they play, we just drop Fear of Being Hunted and it's like, oops, it's dead. We attack it, And it has to block a 5-power creature. Not a removal spell. No, play a creature, please. I want to kill your creature. I want to hunt it with my fear being hunted. Cracked Skull. Annoying card. We're getting Thought Seized here, so there goes the fear being hunted probably. Get rid of the Wombo combo. Got rid of the Betrayer's Bargain, I see. Alright. I'm going to drop Diversion Specialist here. There's a bunch of damage if we just run out the fear immediately. But this way we're more mana efficient. Keys to the house. Grab whatever basic land they need. Probably for a splash. Oh, are these the Marvel basics? I don't know these references very well. Here's the fear. This is a twist reality here. Let's see what they got. This is a lot of damage coming at them. It's gotta be something good. This is go to 5. Okay. Fear of failed tests. Weird game, but okay. They are just dead. They are just super dead. Take 6 here, and that's it. We got the extra damage from Turn Inside Out as well. Or they take 7 here. Alright, we'll take it. 1-0 it is, heading into game number 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 2. Got an early fear being hunted. And then we're just looking to draw more white mana to play the best card in our deck, Overlord of the Mistmoors, as well as the second best card in our deck, Enduring Innocence. This hand is really absurd if we draw another planes. And we still have a turn 3 play if we don't, so we know what we're doing the first few turns of this game. Ooh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna lead Fear being hunted and go for damage here. That also gives me the option of dropping Slayer next turn and doing that combo to kill whatever they play without losing a creature. Grasping Longneck, sure. Seems like a decent enough combo for me to go for that instead of getting some flyers out this soon. We'll just start eating their creatures for free. Moldering Gem to set up their mana. Get a chunk of damage in here. And then the absurd Overlord of the Mistmoors. They're at 11 life, facing a ton of damage on our board. And there's the concession from our opponent. Really absurd game, and we are 2-0 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 3 with no red mana in the opening hand and only one castable spell. We play a single 2-1 until we hit another mountain. Otherwise, we just sit here. I guess I could Surgical Sweep the Veteran Survivor back, so that gives me a couple things to do if he dies early. Still think that's probably a mulligan. There we go. We got both our colors. We got the strongest card in our deck, but we have a bunch of cards that cost 3 or more. Still a risk to this. This is definitely a keep, though. I think I need to ditch Fear being hunted, because it requires specifically another mountain being drawn, whereas the Escort's castable off of any land we draw. It is a shame to lose the Escort plus Fear being hunted combo, but We have plenty more powerful things to do in this hand, like Overlord, Sheltered by Ghosts. Manifest Dread. Okay, we hit the mana here. I don't mind the trade, so we'll just send in and drop Hardened Escort. Spine Seeker Centipede. Grab whatever basic land they need, fix their mana up, they grab an island, and they have a black-white duel. There's going to be a lot of colors here. There's a Surgical Suite as the draw. Love to hit the land at some point, but this is a castable spell. This is not a blank draw. We'll just get the hand back. And pass. There's Kona, Rescue Beastie. So if Kona attacks and is tapped in the second main phase, then Kona can just reanimate a creature. Or not reanimate, animate a creature out of the hand. I'll just take the centipede damage. I don't think I need to trade here. Dang, that is not my land. But pretty cool if it was. Let's shelter Kona away until they kill the hand that feeds. Dissection Tools is a very, very strong card. 4/4 Death Touch lifelink, and it leaves this equipment behind that they can sack things to move it around over and over. Have to sack a creature to move it, but still really good. Send both in. We turn inside out if they block the escort. Otherwise, we're casting stuff. Oh, what a hit. We hit the patched plaything off the manifest, which is perfect here because we didn't have anything else to do with our mana if we ended up having to cast the combat trick. And now we have an exactly 3 mana creature to flip up. And because we flipped it up, it doesn't have the -1/-1 counters on it. It's just a 4/3 double strike straight up. Hit for 7, gain 7, be at 19 here. It's kind of rough. Let's take the trade. They will be able to reanimate that, but then they can't put the tools on it unless they get another creature. Now we'll Overlord. Altenac, okay, 9/9 trample is scary, but we're at 21. Doesn't stop the flyers. If I can get one more card type engrave, I have Delirium. I have creatures and creature artifact instant. Just need like a land or a sorcery engrave. Dang. I'm a card away. The biggest fear here is they just play a creature and then give Altenac Death Touch lifelink, and then they have an 11/11 with lifelink. Yeah. That's a nightmare. Oh no, not 2 more creatures. That's super bad. Now that we have the Slayer, though, we do get to attack back with Hand That Feeds and gain a little bit of life back. This is an insane game of Magic. So they're going to go to 24. We need to be above 11. There's Glassworks on the Thresher. We'll be above 11 by just attacking with everybody. But then they get to reanimate the worms. So that could be actually 16 damage coming at me. I'm going to gain 4 here. Am I actually going to turn inside out just to gain a little bit more life? If I do this and I go to 14, and then I Glassworks the Thresher, if they have a removal spell for Slayer, they go like 4 mana Reanimate Worm, 3 mana Remove Slayer, I'm dead. I don't know if we're getting through this 11-11 lifelink. Guess I'm just making sure that I'm at above 16 then. So I can reanimate and put us to 1 here. The alternative of like not using Turn Inside Out, if they didn't have a removal spell here, I still chump and then go really low. I think they've got us. I mean, Death Touch Trample with 11 power is just way too much. Hospital Room to gain 1 more life. I mean, I would need like 11 blockers here. I'm gaining 4. We have instant artifact and creature. I could sack an enchantment. Then I gain 6. I go to 7 life. 7 life is still not enough against 11 power Death Touch Trample. But maybe, just maybe, our opponent doesn't know that. The chance. Maybe our opponent is not fully aware how the Death Touch Trample works. But I'm pretty sure they do. All they have to do is click attack with Altanak and we're dead. Even with all this toughness. Drag to the roots, sure. They declare the attack. All right. Rough. Dissection tools for 11-11 Death Touch Trample lifelink. Just going to be too much to get through, even for an Overlord. Crazy stuff. That is going to be 2-1 heading to game 4. All right, we're gambling on a mono-white opening hand here for game number 4. We got a couple creatures to play in a row, and they happen to work pretty well together. You can attack with both of these at the same time and tap. Orphans of the Weed is very funny with vigilant creatures. Our opponent starts with the Possessed Goat, so they're probably Black-White Reanimator. You can use the goat to discard some big creature out of your hand. To reanimate it later and make the goat a 4/4. Yep, Black-White Reanimator it is. We could just get excuse me, we could just get deleted really quickly here. If they just discard like a Valgavoth. They did not draw one though, so they just discard a land to slap us. Fair enough. We have drawn 0 lands so far this game, which is less fair, but there we go. There's a mountain on top. Go team go. Overlord of the Mistmoors. That's my card. What is going on? Duskmourn is a very explosive format. Like, our decks have both had crazy bombs in them, but also just playing against crazy bombs all the time. Don't have a lot of options here that are any good. The trades are pretty bad. If I don't trade, though, all I can do is play Arabella. At least I unlock a Surgical Suite if I go for trades here. Could Betrayer's Bargain this goat? But I have to sacrifice something to do that because I don't have the 4th mana anyway, and sacrificing a creature here is really bad. So we're not going to bargain. Tune Inside Out doesn't really do anything. Do we really just play Arabella and pass? It's literally Arabella or Surgical Suite, and I'm not a fan of either. I think I'm going to do the Surgical Suite thing. So we also get to Surveil and set up our draws, get the 4th mana, but it's not red. We could play Specialist or Hospital Room with it, but we can't Fear of Being Hunted. We could also use Bargain with that. Yeah, it's probably still worth it. Okay, they're going to take the trades here. We Surgical Suite back. Fear of Surveillance then. Maybe block trade with Goat here. They've got 2 cards in their hand to have potential instant speed removal. Okay, now they tapped out, so we know they don't have that. Perfect. Oh, this does mean setting up that Plains on top doesn't matter anymore because we're about to mill it, but still worth it to get that kill. Okay. Look, it was still there the whole time. This is 5 damage, which is not enough to kill the Overlord once it unlocks. So we pray to somehow outrace this Overlord. They are down to 10. Savior of the Small. There's the land I need to kill that Savior with a Fear of Being Hunted. Then they go to 8. But then the Overlord is up on blocks and basically kills me as soon as it attacks. I don't think we get there. Unless we draw like our own Overlord or something crazy. But even then, we don't have the mana to like hard cast it yet. Ah, yeah. No, we just get overloaded. We can flip the Fear of Being Hunted up. They have to block it, but it's not big enough to kill. So they just eat it with the Overlord. Even if I Hospital Room activate, it's a 5-power creature. So we just run stuff out and pass. The best we got here. And then they just get to attack with the Overlord, have a million blockers up. Just getting soloed by the Overlord. I don't think any other cards they played really mattered that much. Bombs just be bombing. We would have drawn a Sheltered by Ghosts for it. Down to 6. They play a land, we draw a land. I don't know if this even works out, but feels like the best bet. I don't know why I'm so excited to attack with the 4/2 here. It's just like, I guess if they don't block, they die. But they are blocking Arabella, so we could put them to 1. Put them to 1 is a thing. Oh no! The killer. I forgot the killer's mask is an equipment to just move around, so they just give the Overlord menace. Then I can't block the Overlord anyway. Take 6, 7, 8. Well, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoot, I'm dead. I have to kill the flyer and hope that this is not anything, that this face down is just a land or something. Yeah, I have to kill the flyer. That way, if they move the menace to the Overlord, I block there, take 8, go to 1. Man, maybe I missed like 1 point of damage somewhere. This actually ended up being so much closer than I thought it could be. I mean, maybe if I attacked with everybody last turn, but then if they blocked correctly, we were guaranteed dead. Like, if I attacked with everybody last turn, they could have easily just, like, blocked in a way to survive and then lethal us on the crackback. There was probably something somewhere there. Man. All right. 2-2 it is, heading into game 5. All right, here we are on the play for game number 5. Pretty important game here. We're 2-2 right now, so this is going to decide whether or not we win more games than we lose. Hoping not to lose this game. The hand is pretty dang good. We got a 2 mana, 3 mana, and 4 mana creature. We got a removal spell. We got a great combat trick. We are just kind of rolling in right now. Definitely want that land. They take the trade here, sure. Drop the escort. We are playing against blue-white, which is one of the enchantment decks. I like this plains. I like cows. It's very cute. There is some kind of aircraft in the background. I don't need that. I just want the plains with the cows. Underwater tunnel. Surveil 2. Set up their draws a little bit. Look for what they need. Pass the turn. Here's the MVS. The best friends right there. Alright, stay hidden on the most valuable Slayer. I believe it still gets to use its ability at least. Yeah, it just stays tapped. So it is going to be buffing our other creatures. Could use a Sheltered by Ghosts to get rid of the stay hidden thing. Stop them from being able to manifest later. And then they'd also have to use another removal spell to kill the Hardened Escort. After they already put something on it, which I don't mind. Sure. That's kind of cool. Could also have put it on the hand that feeds, so I have a slightly bigger lifelinker. I'm not too worried about that. Doll Maker's Shop. Whenever they attack with a non-toy, they get a 1/1 toy onto the board. So that doesn't do anything right now. Okay, let's hardcast this. Just get that thing out of the way and jam with everybody. I mean, I didn't even need to do that, technically. Could have just attacked with everybody except the Hardened Escort, and still, they couldn't do anything on blocks. Here's a 3/3 on blocks. They're down to 9. Do we have an instant in our grave yet? We do have an instant in our grave. Oh, there's a Fear being hunted. That'll just lock it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if I use turn inside out over here. If they don't have an instant, turn inside out kills them. So I'm just going to go for it. Okay. It would have been much safer to just give the first strike to the fear being hunted. But this way we could lethal them right now and they don't get another draw step, and it worked out. So we are 3-2 heading to game number 6. All right, here we are now for game number 6. We're 3-2 right now. And this is a reasonable opening hand. It's a little slow, but we've got a 2-drop on curve, and we've got a really, really good spell for turn 4. Playing against the blue-red deck, blue-red rooms. Strategy I think is a lot of fun. A little hard to pull it off, but it is super, super fun if you can get there. And they're going all the way, promising stairs. So they surveil one every turn. They can also search for any room in their whole deck next turn. And if they have 8 or more rooms ever, they win on the spot. So that's really scary, especially in an opening hand that doesn't put too much pressure on them that early. We're not doing too much till turn 4. Especially with that 3/3 roadblock in the way. The Stalked Researcher. Oh, they got the Smoky Lounge, Misty Salon as well. Really, really powerful. That's going to give them the extra mana that they need to start using their rooms quicker. And it's going to give them a big old flying blocker and or attacker. So this is already looking very sketchy. That's technically 4 different rooms out already, so they're halfway towards the auto win with Promising Stairs. Now they're going to tutor for a room. They could grab the 3-mana deal 4 thing to slow us down. But maybe they even have another like premium one like those two. Yeah, Bottomless Pool is a pretty premium one here. 1 mana to kill one of our flying tokens. Enduring Innocence is a nice draw, I think. Yeah, I could use some card draw here to try to speed things up. Do I just chump attack with Hand That Feeds to draw a card right now? That does not feel right. I also don't think like Hospital Room to get a +1/+1 counter on this board is all that good either. What if I just cast Friendly Ghost then? It's probably best. Just full speed ahead, try to push as much damage as we can. Because we're under a very, very quick clock here. And then I could use both halves of the Surgical Suite and Hospital Room later whenever Hand That Feeds dies, now that we've got 6 mana. So they probably kill a token here, I imagine. Yes, they kill a token. They're already at 6 different rooms, so they just need to draw 1 other room spell to kill us. There's a huge blocker there to make sure they don't die. They are attacking for 4, which is nice, 'cause I think that's the only way that we're going to win is if they keep cracking back at us and let us try to race them. Even with that happening, though, we have no attacks whatsoever this turn. Yeah, there's no way to set things up to attack with everybody. Surgical Suite's mana value 3 or less? Yeah, not power 3 or less. Well, what does one do here? Kind of feel like I just dropped Most Valuable Slayer. I don't know, maybe I'm just supposed to be drawing cards ASAP. Let's do some digging. We gotta hit something crazy immediately because we don't have time to kill them before they just kill us. No more rooms, please. No rooms in hand, I'm begging you. Yep. I think we just say come on in. Go to 7. Yeah, one chump is not that bad. Could also put 6 toughness on it. 4 power creature, which is also good if they don't have a trick, and fine if they do. No room. Fingers crossed, no rooms. They would need to be able to play the room and unlock the other half immediately to kill us on the spot. Okay, they don't have that. Turn Inside Out's actually a really good draw, I think. Alright, let's see what Veteran Survivor draws us. Draws Arabella, which is another really good one. Slayer, and then see if we need to Turn Inside Out here. I don't think we do, though. I think we just want to cast Arabella. And since I just want to cast Arabella, I don't want to force myself to cast Turn Inside Out. Oh, well, they're going to make me do it anyway. It's fine, I'll just eat all those. Okay. Here's Overlord. They don't win this turn. Even if they play and unlock a room, they now have to survive everything that I have out. Which is what made me really want to be able to play Arabella here, because it'd be really difficult to survive Arabella. Okay, there's the room. Oh, they don't have enough blue mana. They don't have enough blue mana to also unlock that. So even if they survive this turn, they're not at 8 yet. And I don't think they survive this turn. I'm not even going to do the math, because math is for blockers, but let's see. So that blocks here. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They do survive this turn because we don't have an Arabella. Well, but then they don't kill us next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could take 9. They don't take 9. They're going to block the 3 power creature. I'm not going to unlock Hospital Room then. We'll just have them kill Enduring Innocence, because that sticks around on board with its ability. All right. Oh, I should have pre-commented the Arabella to try to draw into something that might have mattered. Fear of Isolation. So they can bounce something. Bounce the Arabella. But they're still dead on board. So if a single creature gets in, they're dead. Unlock the Locker Room Prey. This final draw. And I don't believe... Yep, that does not do it. Insanely close game. They were literally one turn off from killing us with the just have 8 rooms unlocked ability. Scary, scary stuff from the rooms deck, but we are 4-2 now. Positive record on this draft no matter what, and at the break-even point in terms of prize out. All right, here we are on the play now for game number 7. We're 4-2. So we're pretty happy whatever happens from here. We are not in the money, but we're getting our entry fee back. And this is a really good start, especially being on the play. That is super nice. The Sheltered by Ghosts here is so much pressure to try to keep up with. Clearing out a blocker and adding more power to the board at the same time. It's a pretty brutal card. Don't feel the need to use it on a random little flyer like that. So we'll hold off on it for now. Tunnel Surveyor, that's a little annoying. Okay. There's just a lot of blockers on the ground here. Just get thick with it. Make sure everybody attacking is big enough to not trade into a 1/1 token. Push them down to 8 here. Just the Inquisitive Glimmer. Some big ethereal armor. But we can just get that out of the way with a Sheltered by Ghosts. Which I think is the play. Who am I buffing here? It's got to be Friendly Ghost, because all the other creatures are just much more likely to actually die, because they can be blocked here. And 1/1 really annoying here, so that they go block there if I'm sending on the ground. Don't even know if that's even worth it. Could hand that feeds, turn inside out here. Just get the Glimmer out of here and still have just as many creatures on board, or I can save turn inside out for a buff for 3 to their face. I think I'm going to trade on the aggressive here and get more blockers out of the way. Yeah. Didn't hit any creatures off of the Manifest, sadly. But it's still a 2/2. Fear of Immobility, but we've got wards, so they can't do it on Friendly Ghost, so they're down to 2 now. Would have been dead if I kept the turn inside out, but they also would have been dead if their creature couldn't stun one of ours. Since I got that extra creature and got the blocker out of the way, we could have killed them going wide there too. If that were a slightly different spell than Fear of Immobility. Okay, it all works out fine. They can't get rid of the Friendly Ghost. But maybe it was better to just try to get that extra damage in that turn after, than try to push wide. Either way, get the victory in the end, and we are 5-2 in the money out of this draft, heading into game number 8. All right, here we are with a pretty slow hand for game number 8. We don't play anything else till turn number 3 on the draw. But it's got both of our colors and reasonable creatures. I'm going to keep it, and we'll see how it works out for us. Surgical Suite to reanimate a Plaything if they kill it is really nice, so I'm going to lead with the Plaything and kind of just hope it dies. Another blue-red deck here. There's the Underwater Tunnel, surveilling a couple. Mill a Waltz of Rage, little board wipe, and they have green in there too. 3 color rooms. Ooh, counter it. They were holding. I was like, are they going to do the 2-mana counterspell? Then I get to reanimate and have a 4-power double striker out, not a Death Toucher. Oh, they're going to Pyroclasm it. Let's go. I like that too. I like that too. It's not mana efficient, but I still think getting a 4/3 double striker is better than these other creatures. If I wait one turn... If I wait one turn, I can cast Hardened Escort and Surgical Suite. And then that way I can also see if we can get them to use removal on this Slayer first before that thing. And they did. It was a counterspell, though, which they could not have countered the Surgical Suite with, so that's awkward. I could just dome them for 20, casting 2 copies of Turn Inside Out, if they're tapped out and they don't block Plaything. But I have a feeling that's not happening. Yeah, they're not tapped out. I'm so tempted to have the opportunity to lethal them here. I guess I can do it with the Rotunda too. No, not the chomp. No. It would have been so cool. Alright. Did not get to dome for 20 right off the bat. Greenhouse, so now they have perfect mana. They could be a Marina Vendril Rooms deck like we were in our first draft here. Alright. What are you... Why the heck would you ever tap like that? Want me to tap us out of all of our red? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna load that thing up. Okay. They have no response. They're just dead. Didn't even need the turn inside outs. And that is 6-2. This deck has made it all the way to the final battle here. Win or lose, this will be the final game of Magic for tonight. All right, here we are on the draw for the final game of Magic. Very reasonable opening hand. We got a Survivor. We got a little 1/1 on turn 2. We do need to draw some lands at some points, but this should work out perfectly fine against most openers. And there's a land immediately. The bargain works really well with the entryway Rotunda, because that's one of the rooms that both rooms on it are just the enter the battlefield effect. They're just the unlock effect. So after I've used both halves of this thing, it's sitting there doing literally nothing. So it's very expendable to a sacrifice effect. It's another blue-red deck here. This one looks aggressive, though. Clockwork Percussionist into the Ragged Playmate. Very interesting. You juice up the squad here, send both in. I don't mind trading Survivor down into Playmate. Getting a couple points of damage in. It's an Overlord, but I gotta get my white mana ready. I mean, I've got the most valuable Slayer in hand, so I can also just wait for, excuse me, wait for that to attack with Veteran Survivor. I'm just going to do some digging. Sacrifice the Clockwork Percussionist to look at what they got on top. It's a Gremlin Tamer. So blue, white, red enchantments deck. Gremlin Tamer is an absurd card. Really, really, really good for the blue, white, Eerie decks. But interesting Jeskai build here, the 3-color. Glassworks is a pretty awesome draw, because I don't really want to let Gremlin Tamer stick around, because it could play really poorly for me, so it might be better to just blow it up immediately instead of playing Slayer. I think I'm still just going to play Slayer. I could get a 1/1 or 2 here. Especially because I've got, like, if we get another land, we can cast both of these in the same turn, and that's going to really, really change their blocking situation out of nowhere. Exile the land out of their graveyard. I'm just kind of peeling away at their Delirium, and because they have 2 different artifact creatures, that's not going to stop any Delirium. Infernal Phantom. So when that dies, it does damage equal to its power to anything, and there's an Ethereal Armor on it to make it even bigger. So we can Glassworks that. We could bargain it, though, and then it's exiled, and that is devastating. So let's do that. I don't need to Glassworks here. But it's mana efficient and puts pressure on them, so I don't think it's terrible to do so. Yeah, I'll do it here. Really make sure it's harder for them to establish blocks. Pass turn. There's the white source for Overlord, which is huge. Seized from Slumber, blow up my little aggro guy. They go down to 12. Here's Overlord. Lionheart Glimmer without any other creatures is not great. Oh no. We really had to do it to him. Just top deck the Fear of Being Hunted to eat that. It's a forced chump block. The Fear of Being Hunted being the real MVP in a lot of these games. In a few of them, at least. Excuse me. And I guess that's not really fair to say. I mean, Overlord was a pretty absurd MVP there as well. Cast big mythic spells, win games, a constant in Magic the Gathering. Really good stuff. Got a full trophy run today. Cannot be unhappy with that. Did some Boros good stuff. Was looking maybe a little mid during that second pack, but I mean, it's hard to be a mediocre deck when you have an Overlord in there, and we did open that Overlord pack too, so always had that kind of going for us. But yeah, we did some good stuff. We had some cards that aren't just like blanketly powerful cards that are like great all the time, that just happen to have good synergies in this deck. You know, having double Fear of Being Hunted did make the Hardened Escort much better than it usually is. It's usually quite mediocre, quite filler. We had a few cards like that. Like Hand That Feeds, pretty mediocre, pretty filler, but being able to have that Delirium that one time with like a Sheltered by Ghosts on it was pretty nice. Getting its extra power way up there and gaining a bunch of life. Surgical Suite and Patched Plaything worked together really well to make both of these cards a little bit better than usual. Plaything had some decent combos. We managed to manifest it one time. We managed to reanimate it with Surgical Suite one time. We did some stuff with the Patched Plaything, which was nice. We even theoretically could have buffed it with double Turn Inside Out, which is good too. That's another thing you can do with double strikers. The combat tricks are so much better with them. So we had a lot of cute little synergies here that made some of those more mediocre cards like Plaything, Escort, I don't know, Hand That Feeds and stuff like that better than normal. But we also drew very well, and we hit our incredibly powerful very lucky, bomb the Overlord of the Mistmoors pretty dang often. But sweet stuff for today's draft. That's going to be maximum prize out here, 2,200 gems and 6 packs of Duskmourn, House of Horror. But that's going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.